Hey guys, it's Mo from Mo in the Deep End. I am trying to set up a cross stitch camera, and I was working on getting the opening statements for the case that Reindeer was asking me to look at when the dumpster fire of the Delphi case decided to, erupt again in a more volcanic nuclear dumpster hurricane as per usual. So, Judge Gull, as per expectations, did deny her recusal. Basically, she said, "Nah, I'm gonna stay on. The Supreme Court didn't yeet me, so therefore I am awesome and ready to go." But shots fired from the defense. There is a motion to dismiss for destroying exculpatory evidence. Friberto, I love you so very much, puppy butt, but this is actually an important video. How did you get Godzilla? Okay, one second. Sorry. Have to extricate Godzilla and throw him over there. Nothing but professionalism from this particular YouTuber, as always, as you have come to expect from this particular channel. Nothing but the best. Let's go into this. This was filed today at 9:21 a.m. It's the state of Indiana, Carroll County, plaintiff. I wonder if the state will show up. I have many people from, my particular Walmart who might personify the state very well, just if you're wondering. Now comes the accused, Richard Allen, by and through counsel Andrew Baldwin and Bradley Rossi, and pursuant to the 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendments to the U.S. Constitution, Article 1, Section 12 of the Indiana Constitution and Indiana Code, subsection 35 34-1-4, subsection A, subsection 11, moves this court to dismiss charges against the accused for destroying exculpatory evidence in violation of the standards set out in Brady versus Maryland 373 U.S. 83 in 1963. In support of said motion, the accused states the following. Number one, Richard Allen stands accused of murdering two victims on or about February 13th, 2017. Number two, since receiving discovery on this case, the defense has unearthed significant evidence that third parties named Brad Holder and Patrick Westfall were involved in the murders. That evidence has been critical to the theory of the defense. Sorry, I'm so excited. I'm trying to read in double time. 3, the defense would incorporate into this motion the contents of a Frank's memorandum that was filed with the court on September 18th, 2023, which provides details of evidence that supports Brad Holder's and Patrick Westfall's involvements in the murders. Number 4, the defense found a document dated February 17th, 2017 that appears to be an FBI report memorializing an interview of Brad Holder. Contained within the documents are these words, quote, "The below is an interview summary. It is not intended to be a verbatim account and does not memorialize all statements made during the interview. Communications by the parties in the interview rooms were electronically recorded. The recording captures the actual words spoken. Emphasis added." Number 5, also in discovery, the defense found a document dated February 19th, 2017 that appears to memorialize an interview of Patrick Westfall. The report itself does not indicate whether the interview was recorded, though the defense would expect that the standard procedure would require video or audio recording of all statements. 6, after locating this document, the defense sought a copy of the recording detailed in the February 17th, 2007 report so that the defense could listen to the exact spoken words of Brad Holder during this interview. That is vital to Allen's defense, particularly the statements that the author of the document admits were not memorialized in the document. 7, also the defense requested a copy of all audio/visual of Patrick Westfall's interview that was memorialized in February 19th, 2017 report. Number 8, on September 8th, 2023, the prosecutor communicated in a letter that there are no audio or video interviews of Brad Holder or Patrick Westfall available. Prosecutor McClelland offered no explanation as to why these didn't exist. Really, Randall? 9, before the defense had an opportunity to investigate the reason why these material pieces of evidence were not available, Prosecutor McClelland called for the disqualification of attorneys Rossi and Baldwin as Richard Allen's lawyers. Judge Gull, without a great deal of hesitation, said she was leaning toward granting McClelland's request. Ultimately, Judge Gull caused Rossi and Baldwin to be taken off the case. This occurred before Baldwin and Rossi learned why crucial videotaped interviews were missing. 10. On January 31st, 2024, after being reinstated to the case, the prosecution turned over discovery to the defense, including a letter cataloging the evidence that the prosecutor was turning over to the defense. 11. Contained on page 5, paragraph 5 of the itemization of the discovery are the words that explain Brad Holder's missing videotaped interview and Patrick Westfall's missing interview, in quotations if one exists. Quote, due to a DVR program error discovered on 9/20/2017, all recordings up to February 20th, 2017 were recorded over. There is no detectable audio found on this drive. End quote. Remember, Brad Holder and Patrick Westfall were interviewed during this very short window, February 14th, 2017 and February 20th, 2017, within days of the murders. The videotaped interviews were deleted by the police. It is unknown what other interviews were deleted during the relevant timeframes. The destruction of material interviews of key suspects early in the investigation demonstrates negligence, if not intentional conduct on the part of the state. How could law enforcement, while investigating one of the most serious of crimes, record over interviews of material suspects with reckless or intentionality? Number 12. As a material part of his defense, Richard Allen is expected to direct attention toward Brad Holder and Patrick Westfall as being involved in the murders of these two young victims. The evidence will show that Richard Allen does not know Brad Holder or Patrick Westfall, and therefore Richard Allen had nothing to do with the murders. This destroyed videotape interview of Holder and Patrick Westfall, quote, if it ever existed, was expected to contain evidence that could provide exculpatory and material evidence in support of Richard Allen's defense. If a recording of Westfall was never surrendered or secured, that too is purposeful or negligent failure to preserve material and exculpatory evidence. 13. Experienced defense lawyers fully understand the significance of comparing and contrasting the accuracy and credibility of one's audio tape statement with the information that is represented by law enforcement officers in police reports or summaries. It is through this process that Richard Allen would have been able to challenge the veracity of the statements of Holder and Westfall. However, the state's intentional or negligent destruction of the original recordings deprived the accused of such an opportunity. 14. The state's actions have deprived the defense of the ability to compare Brad Holder's words from February 17th, 2017, in parentheses, only 3 days after the victims were murdered, to evidence that was unearthed over the next several weeks, months, and years. This would have allowed Richard Allen to determine whether Holder's story was consistent with unknown evidence at the time of Holder's first statement, and whether it was consistent or inconsistent with future testimony, in parentheses, be that trial testimony, deposition testimony, or statements made to other persons or witnesses. End of the parentheses statement. 15. In any criminal investigation, interviews of potential witnesses must be preserved, in parentheses, such as the precise words of Holder and Westfall in their 2017 interviews. God love you, Fry. I love you, but I'm trying to do a video, sweetie. Because as additional information is developed, reviewing prior statements may reveal inconsistencies or raise questions about other witnesses or information relevant to unbiased investigations. Without actual audio or video that would provide the exact words spoken from Brad Holder's mouth to the accused Richard Allen will never, ever be able to know exactly how many inconsistencies existed in the original statements of Brad Holder and Patrick Westfall when compared to the evidence that was later discovered or future testimony of Holder and Westfall, nor can Richard Allen challenge the credibility of Holder and Westfall in the light of subsequent discovered evidence. 17. Furthermore, Allen is deprived of the ability to confront either suspect with their own words, contradicting any self-serving testimony they may offer through investigation or prosecution. 18. On August 30th, 2023, following depositions in which the state of Indiana and law enforcement learned that the defense believed Brad Holder to be an actor in the murders, law enforcement finally re-interviewed Holder for what is believed to be the first time since 2017. 19. While in 2017, according to the memorialized report, Brad Holder told law enforcement that he had never met Abby Williams, who was purportedly dating his son. There is a footnote. You know how I love my footnotes. His story changed in 2023 when he talked to law enforcement. In 2023, he told the interviewer at the 39 minutes and 9-second mark, quote, "I barely even knew the girl. I met her once," end quote. Therefore, one material and highly relevant contradiction exists. It is therefore plausible that many more contradictions would be available to the defense, but for the state's intentional or negligent failure to preserve all the evidence. 12. Such negligent and intentional conduct on the part of the police has also resulted in the absence of material evidence which could be exculpatory in nature. This circumstance in and of itself violates Richard Allen's due process rights. And then in 2017, the report stated that, quote, "Holder never actually met Abby herself," end quote. So that's what the report stated. And this is obviously a big change from what he did state previously. We must, however, place such conduct in greater, more noteworthy context. 21. It has also been discovered that former Rushville police officer Todd Click reached out to prosecutor McClelland in an attempt to bring to his attention the existence of an 85-page report summarizing, okay, all right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to turn off this camera. I'm going to move this, and then you can be right by my side, you dingus. Sorry, everyone. This is supposed to be important, but apparently Friberto is simply must have all the attentions. You know, all the attentions. So, number 21. It's also been discovered that former Rushville police officer Todd Click reached out to prosecutor McClelland in an attempt to bring to his attention the existence of an 85-page report summarizing the investigation that revolved around Brad Holder, Patrick Westfall, and other affiliates. This letter, which landed on prosecutor McClelland's desk via certified mailing on May 1st, 2023, was not discovered to the defense until more than 4 months later, on September 8th, 2023, and only after the defense disclosed in depositions that they were aware of the Odinist ties to the crime scene and the investigation. This failure to disclose on the part of the prosecutor, if not entirely intentional, raises to the level of an ultimate untimely failure of disclosure and potentially exculpatory evidence. The failure to disclose sheds further suspicion on the absence of Holder and Westfall's interviews referenced herein. 12. Furthermore, as explained in the Franks memo, it appears as if law enforcement and possibly the prosecutor himself attempted to conceal the identity of a Purdue professor who contradicts the sworn words of Trooper Jerry Holman and Sheriff Tony Leggett concerning whether the crime scene contained signs of involvement of an Odinist cult. 23. In more recent discovery, defense also located a prepared search warrant application to AT&T for data contained on Brad Holder and Patrick Westfall's mobile devices. Each application states that Holder and Westfall is, quote, a known member of a religious sect and elements of the murder have potential religious significance. The information being requested is relevant to an ongoing crime investigation. End quote. There is no evidence that the warrant was ever served. Also, the defense has not located any discovery regarding the data contained on Holder's and Westfall's 2017 phones or any electronic devices. It defies logic that law enforcement would conduct forensic examinations of so many other phones in its investigation, yet ignore the phones of Brad Holder and Patrick Westfall, who were viewed as suspects within 3 days of the murders and interviewed by law enforcement, in parentheses, who then prepared search warrants for those phones, end of a parentheses section. These suspicious facts further call into question the circumstances surrounding the destruction of key videotape segments of Holder and Westfall, if they ever existed, and support Richard Allen's motion to dismiss all charges filed by the state of Indiana. 24. The defendant requests a hearing at which time he can present evidence and make arguments as to why these charges should be dismissed. 25. The defense files contemporaneously here within his memorandum in support of the motion, wherefore Richard Allen, for the reasons cited herein and the accompanying memorandum, moves to dismiss all charges against him and requests a hearing on this motion. So, you guys, this is huge. I kind of confabulated. That is a new, very technical word. Very technical. My desk to try to make this, but I think I am changing my plans a little bit today because what I'm going to now do, since Nicholas and I sort of went through the memorandum but never got completely done with it, what I think I am going to do today is start working on just dictating and writing or reading out the memorandum. So if that is something you guys would like to see, please tell me in the comments. This case has gone full nuclear dumpster fire. So holy fazoli's and flapjacks. This is huge. I cannot believe that the state, who has been saying Odinists don't exist, basically had search warrants saying, this is totally a culty thing, and we would like to search these people's phones. This is huge. I don't hold out much hope of Judge Gull actually honoring this request. I think this is going to have to be another writ of mandamus. Honest to goodness, I think that this is going to have to go back to the Supreme Court, unfortunately. I do not see Judge Gull being able to be impartial about this. I don't know what bee has gotten in her bonnet, but this is huge. So I will get things reconnoitered, if you will, and I will start I will start doing a video on the sections of the memoranda, and I will start getting that going for you guys. I'm going to make a quick thumbnail and get this going because holy fazoli's, this is crazy. Have a wonderful day, guys. Say something kind to yourself and something kind to others. Please, I don't generally ask to share things out because that seems a little I just don't. I think if you want to share it out naturally, that's fine. But I would encourage you greatly, not for me to share it out, But get this information out there. This man, if this is true, this man has been held in solitary confinement for years and basically tortured. And if the prosecution has held on to this Brady material and destroyed interviews, and they knew about this 3 days after these two precious girls were unalived in a horrific way, I cannot tell you how irritated I am. I cannot tell you how disgusted and grossed out I am by this particular, sheriff's department and prosecution. If they've had this all along and they've gone after this man and let these two guys walk around, and I am taking this with a grain of salt, but if this is true, if this is what happened in black and white, y'all, I'm gonna need a giant emotional support beverage at our dinner date tonight with Mr. Mo. I'm just telling you what. I'll tell you what, Bobby, just know. Any hoozle, I don't generally ask, but please share the heck out of this, or, Sleuthy Goosey, Defense Diaries. A lot of people on Twitter are much, much better than me and have a lot more information. Share the heck out of them. Uh, you know, it's not about me. It's about getting this man, if this is true, out of jail. So I don't want to get clout off of this or whatever doodaddy, internet brownie points. I just, if true, this is really ticked me the heck off. Any hoozle. Bye, guys.